Hi there, viewers! Does the aroma of freshly brewed coffee pull you into coffee shops? Having coffee in the morning is like a ritual for many. It's almost like a button that switches you on for the daily grind. What is your reason for having coffee? Do you believe it torches calories? Or is it just out of habit? In today's video, we're about to debunk caffeine myths. Stay tuned because who knows, you might be having coffee for all the wrong reasons. Before we go ahead, do you know which foods contain caffeine? It's not just your espressos and javas. Regular tea, green tea, chocolate bars, chocolate syrup, energy drinks, ice creams, cola nuts, caffeinated chewing gums, and a few medications contain caffeine of varying amounts. It really is everywhere. Do you feel thirsty after having coffee? Then that might be from the extra sugar and sweeteners. People often say caffeine is a dehydrating agent, but that really depends on how much you have. Caffeine is a mild diuretic. It might increase your urine output if you go beyond 300 milligrams a day. That would come up to 3 or 4 cups of coffee. Studies show moderate coffee drinking does not cause dehydration. If you have your coffee with water, it will even help your body stay a little more hydrated. If you still feel parched, have more water. There's no better drink than H2O. Then you won't have to worry about giving up your morning cup of joe. Pregnant folks, has your doctor advised you to dial down on your caffeine intake? And you thought you only had to give up on alcohol, sushi, and soft cheeses. Studies show caffeine less than 200 milligrams does not affect fetal growth. High amounts of caffeine in food and drink can lead to loss of pregnancy. Caffeine can cross the placenta and reach your baby. Researchers have noted slowed growth, low birth rate, premature birth, and birth defects with excessive caffeine intake. So try to keep it under 2 small cups a day if you are expecting. You also might want to keep the French press in the cupboard for a while if you're trying to get pregnant. Are you thinking of switching to tea for less caffeine? Then hold on a minute. The type of tea, the length for which tea steeps, the temperature of the water, particle size of the tea powder, and the amount of tea used for 1 cup will all play a factor in deciding the caffeine content in the tea. So even if you're picking black or green tea, you might end up with more caffeine than instant coffee. While most of us believe that coffee contains more caffeine, it's really only because the coffee powder usually packs more caffeine in one drink. Realistically speaking, coffee beans have less caffeine than tea leaves. Its content only increases after the beans mature and are brewed. Another thing is lacing your tea with sugar. Unsweetened coffee can beat it any day. Let's spill the beans on the myth that more than 1 cup of coffee can cause cancer. We'll start by defining what 1 cup of coffee is. A drink that equals 8 ounces or less can be considered 1 cup. The safe limit of caffeine is 400 milligrams per day. A shot of espresso usually contains 60 milligrams of caffeine. So when you do the math, having more than 1 cup of coffee is usually alright. Coming to the cancer part, that is absolutely not true. Since the American diet lacks fresh fruits and vegetables, which are major sources of antioxidants, coffee beans are the most popular source of antioxidants. There's enough scientific evidence that shows antioxidants reduce inflammation and ward off liver diseases and cancer. For most of us, coffee is a morning beverage, and when you're tempted to have it at night, you often get told that it might cause insomnia. This statement might hold true for a few. There are quite a few people who can sleep well right after drinking coffee at night. It depends on your genetics and what other foods are present in your stomach at that time. Research has shown caffeine to interfere with the circadian rhythm and production of melatonin. This delays the onset of sleep. In one study, participants consumed 400 milligrams of caffeine just before bedtime, 3 hours and even 6 hours prior to bedtime. Participants who consumed caffeine even 6 hours before bedtime showed 1 hour of reduced sleep. But this study requires people to have 400 milligrams of caffeine. That's a lot, and slamming so much caffeine in one drink is likely more than you usually drink. But if you keep up this routine for multiple nights, it might mess up the quality of REM sleep and disrupt sleep patterns. The half-life of coffee is about 5 to 6 hours. Even if you have your last cup at 3 p.m., its effects might still be there in your body at 9 p.m. The caffeine levels will drop to a quarter after 12 hours. It's definitely a great pick-me-up for the afternoon slump, but you might want to avoid caffeinated beverages after 2 p.m. if your body has a slow metabolism. Those who are blessed with great genes and can metabolize them fast can enjoy a cup of coffee before bed safely. Caffeine does not make up for loss of sleep either. If your brain is not well rested at night for a good 7 to 9 hours, toxins start accumulating and reduce your attention span. Caffeine can help you stay alert, but it will not improve your performance on the various tasks and daytime functioning. That energy drink is no replacement for a good night's sleep. Drinking too many cups of coffee can also increase a stress hormone called cortisol, increase anxiety and jitters, and give you a huge crash when the caffeine effects start wearing off. Are you guilty of chugging coffee after a bad hangover? Caffeine is a powerful stimulant of the nervous system. Caffeine may relieve drowsiness and enhance your performance. Just takes a few minutes to reach the bloodstream and act rapidly. Caffeine blocks adenosine, a chemical naturally produced by your brain. Adenosine tells your body to slow down and pushes you to sleep. Once the caffeine molecules bind, you no longer feel sleepy or tired. Caffeine also increases dopamine and adrenaline, which are our body's natural antidepressant hormones. That said, research has shown people who consume caffeine along with alcohol in the form of energy drinks may get a false sense of sobering up. So if you are planning to drive back home from a party after chugging alcohol and covering it up with coffee, then your judgment will still be impaired. It can alter your reaction time and may cause car accidents. It's best to give your body time to recover by getting enough rest and staying hydrated. Moving along, is caffeine bad for your bones? The answer will completely depend on your age and how much caffeine you drink in a day. Research shows caffeine can make you lose excess calcium and magnesium through your urine. These minerals are essential for building strong bones. Teenagers binge drinking energy drinks must slow down, as they might be in the developmental stages of bone building. Postmenopausal women also have low calcium reserves and must pay special attention to caffeine intake. If you are already having enough dietary calcium, then you might be saved from osteoporosis. Should heart patients stay away from caffeine? If you are sensitive to caffeine, then consuming caffeine-infused foods and drinks may elevate your heart rate and blood pressure. This happens only for a short time. It is not life-threatening. Studies also show no relation between caffeine consumption to increased cholesterol levels, irregular heartbeats, and other cardiovascular diseases. If you are a heart patient, you might want to talk to your doctor about your caffeine intake to be on the safe side. Do you feel like you're hooked on caffeine? We often hear people saying they're addicted to caffeine, but scientifically, this is baseless. Addictive substances produce large rises in dopamine and activate the reward circuit in your brain. But caffeine only produces small bursts of dopamine that are not enough to trigger this reward circuit. The whole thing is not habit-forming. If you go cold turkey on drinking coffee, you will be able to cope in a day or two without showing any drastic withdrawal symptoms. Are you hoping coffee will give you a slim waistline? There are a few claims that say caffeine is the best detoxing agent and brings miraculous weight loss. You might also see caffeine supplements that claim to be fat-burning. It's true that caffeine reduces appetite and increases metabolism. A study found caffeine to increase the fat burning rate by 29% in lean people and about 10% in obese individuals. But caffeine alone does not do the trick. Additionally, if you are having sugary beverages that are caffeinated, it will defeat the entire purpose. Caffeine may prevent weight gain but cannot bring noticeable weight loss. Also, if you load up on too much caffeine, it will negatively affect your sleep, which will pack on some extra pounds. So be careful. Do you usually order decaf? Well, then brace yourself. This mellow coffee is not magically caffeine-free. The decaffeination process may be successful in removing 97% of the caffeine from the beans, but it still leaves some caffeine in your drink. You still get about 7 milligrams of caffeine in an 8-ounce decaf coffee. On the other hand, brewed coffee may give about 240 milligrams of caffeine in a cup. Lastly, does that dark roast have a dark secret? Do you prefer the bold flavor of dark roast coffee? It's believed the darker the roast, the more alertness it brings. Coffee beans, when roasted for a longer time, turn darker and have less mass. That's why if you measure coffee by weight, the dark roast will give you the desired kick. If you want to measure by volume, light roasted coffee can have higher caffeine content than dark roasted coffee. When it comes to the best drink for your body, water steals the show. But did you know a few additions to your aqua can give you enhanced health benefits? Let's keep the conversation going with a couple more water-related videos, shall we? Watch Drink Raisin Water Daily on Empty Stomach to get these benefits. Or drinking fennel water every day does this to your body. Go ahead, click one, or better yet watch both and learn how to get healthy by drinking water. What caffeine myths did you believe? Let us know in the comments below.